Welcome to the Having It All podcast, the show about what it takes to live an abundant, loving life. My name is Matthew Bivens, and each week I'm helping you get out of your head so that you can truly have it all. Let's do it. What's going on, everybody? Matthew Bivens here, and I thank you for joining me on another episode of the Having It All podcast. This podcast is all about what it takes to live an abundant, loving life. ALL, that's what it stands for, abundant, loving life. And so all these conversations that I have with you is to help you to get closer to that place where you are feeling truly abundant and truly loving in all the areas of life that matter to you most. Today's conversation was sparked off by something that my mentor shared with me and a group of us just last week. And it's a very simple idea, but I believe that when you look back on your life and you look back on the decisions you've made throughout your life, those major decisions, this will most likely be applicable. I know it certainly was for me. And it's this idea that if you make a major decision in life from a state of fear, then you will not find joy or peace in that decision. Because joy and peace do not hang out with fear. So the reason why this is so freaking important to understand is because, we get faced with major decisions in our lives constantly, and it can look like a lot of different things. What might be major to me may not be major to you, but it's those moments when you're at a crossroad, when you're at this place where you can choose this or that. You can choose yes or no. You can go left, you can go right. And the ramifications of that choice are significant. The ripples are going to be major, and they're going to be long lasting. So it could look like, deciding whether to leave or accept a job. It could look like choosing to stay with your partner or leave. It could look like a lot of different things. What it comes down to, though, is if you are in a place of fear and you allow that fear to help influence your decision, and ultimately you make the decision out of fear, you will be very hard-pressed to find peace and to find joy in your decision making. Because when you make that fear, that fear-based decision, what happens is that those agents of fear kick in to help make you feel better about that decision. Those agents of fear are judgment, justification, rationalization, denial. That's what happens when your ego kicks in, kind of puts the reality in your face, and you're like, you know what, I just can't handle this. I need to go left. And you make that fear-based decision. Well, all of a sudden, you've got all of these conflicting emotions, and your body wants to get back as close as it can to that place of peace. And so it uses these tools. It uses judgment to say, you know what, that was effed up. That person is messed up. They don't deserve blah, blah, blah from me anyway. That helps you feel better about your decision. It uses denial. Well, you know what? These people aren't even looking out for my best interest, or you know what? That job wasn't really aligned with who I am in my heart. It uses, fear uses these tools to help you feel better about your decision. But as I said, and as what was shared with me, which really resonated, you won't find peace in that place. You won't find lasting joy in that place, because your body knows, your spirit knows, your heart knows that you made that decision out of fear. And that's a tough pill to swallow. I've made many decisions throughout my life out of fear. And for me, what it looked like is almost always saying no to something, deciding that I won't do something, I won't take a certain action. And, it stems back to when I was a teenager and deciding not to try out for the high school varsity team because I was scared. And then I had to sit with that decision. And my justification was that, well, I'm going to use my senior year to focus on SATs, and therefore I don't have the time to put in on this varsity squad. Like, that was my ego kicking in to help make sense of that decision, to help me feel better about that decision, when I knew in my body and my spirit that it wasn't, that was a fear-based decision, and it wasn't something that was going to help me grow. I've made those decisions in college when it came to different partners, different people I wanted to date or not date, and just sitting at that crossroad. It really is like you're sitting at that proverbial crossroad, and you can go down this path over here, you can go down the path over there. And so many times I was just scared. I was scared of going right, so I went left. And then all that stuff kicks in to make that decision, make it feel better in your body. And if you do this enough, enough times over the course of many years, you start to create that pattern of judgment, justification, rationalization, denial. And you'll get to a point where you don't even realize that you're doing those things. You don't even realize that your ego is using those tools to help make sense of a fear-based decision. That's why I said, if you look back on your life at your pattern of decision making, I'd bet money that you'd be able to find examples of major decisions in your life that you made out of fear. And I ask you to try and put yourself back in that place. How did that feel? Did you feel uplifted? Did you feel energized? Did you feel excited? Did you feel light? That's what happens when you make a decision out of love. You feel free. You feel possibility. When you make a decision out of fear, you feel guilt. You feel shame. You feel anger. You feel small. All of those things happen by choosing from a place of fear. And, it is always a choice, right? So you absolutely have a choice. And if that's what you want to experience, go ahead and experience it. I know I chose that many, many, many times. But as I've gotten older, right now I'm a father, and I realize that those major decisions in my life now don't only impact me. They never only impacted me. That was just a paradigm that it only impacts me. They never only impact you. But for me, especially right now, every decision I make ripples through my family. And it's like, what kind of ripples do I want to send through my family? Ripples that have me showing up in a fearful way, in a judgmental way, playing small, feeling weak. Those aren't the ripples I'm interested in sending through my family, through my daughter. So take a minute and think back. Think back to those major decisions in your life. You probably have a major decision coming up now. I bet you're sitting here listening to this right now, knowing what the crossroad is that you're currently facing. And I can almost bet that those agents of fear have kicked in to some degree to help pull you away from love, to help pull you down that fear path. Nah, you don't need to do it. Now's not the right time. Nah, you haven't stacked up enough money yet. Nah, I mean, maybe they'll change. Nah, don't, like, this place really isn't for me. All of those conversations start kicking up in your mind. And when those conversations start kicking up automatically, like you aren't even conscious of them starting or continuing them, when they just happen, those are fear-based conversations. When there's that little voice that's just pulling you, yeah, come over here. That's fear. That's ego. That will not lead you into a place of joy and peace. I guarantee that. So this is great. It's great because you're at the cusp of a breakthrough. That's what this is. You are sitting on the edge of a breakthrough. The opportunity for a breakthrough is right there in front of you. It's right there. It's just a decision away. A simple decision. One of the most simple decisions, because it's binary, it's black and white. It's fear and love. So you get to make that decision. That's why this stuff is so exciting, man. That's why, playing this game of healing and self-mastery and growth and transformation is so exciting, because we constantly get presented with these opportunities to choose. And it's moment to moment. Moment to moment. Whether it's a major decision in your life, or whether it's a small decision in your life, it's a moment-to-moment choice between fear and love. Fear is going to create a certain experience, and there might be a point in time in your life when you want to experience the result of choosing fear. But love will also create an interesting experience as well. And I know for myself, from my personal experience, that every time I've chosen love, no matter how scary it was, no matter how intimidating it was, no matter how hard and fast my heart was pounding because I was scared out of my mind, every single time I chose love, I never regretted it. I always grew. I experienced some type of breakthrough. I healed some ineffective, unhealthy paradigm that I was holding on to. And you transform. So how can you avoid making your major decisions from a place of fear? Well, I'm happy you asked. I think one of the most effective ways of doing this begins with your self-awareness. It begins with understanding for yourself what it feels like to choose from a place of fear. What does it feel like in your body? When you're presented with that choice and you choose the fear path, what happens in your body? What happens in your body even before? When that ego kicks in and the judgments and the justifications and the rationalizations and the denial, what does that feel like for you? Because it's unique to everyone. For me, when I'm in that space, I start to feel a real elevated heartbeat. My heart starts to pound. I start getting this hot, tingly feeling all over my body. And I start sweating under my arms. I know when those things happen, especially the tingles and the sweat, when that happens, I know that I'm swirling in that fear cesspool. I'm swirling in whatever, and my mind is rationalizing and my ego is denying, and that's what my body does. And for me, it's such a clear indication that the fear is there and it's talking. It's trying to make its presence known. So how you avoid making those decisions from a place of fear is first recognizing when you are in or approaching a place of fear. It's that self-awareness first. The second is to always understand that, there is choice. If you feel like you have no choice and you have to go down a path of fear, well, then you just aren't thinking hard enough. You've got blinders on, because you always have choice. The universe always presents you with those options, that fear option, that love option. So the second thing is recognize that you have a choice. And I think the third thing that has truly, truly helped me is to think back to those decisions that I made from a place of fear, how I felt during, how I felt after, and think back to those decisions that I made from a place of love, how I felt during and how I felt after. And for a while, I was journaling those things. After I made a major decision out of love, went through the experience, climbed the mountain, experienced the breakthrough, I would journal that stuff. I would journal it because a lot of times the sense of elation and lightness and peace and joy that I felt, I wouldn't have believed it possible. It was so overwhelmingly awesome. It was just so complete, so transformational that I just was like, holy crap, I didn't know this was possible. Let me write this stuff down. And I'm happy I did, because what I was then able to do is, in those moments when I'm at the crossroad again, when I'm standing there with yet another opportunity to choose fear and love, I get a chance to go back and read how I felt moments after choosing love and be like, wow, okay, I've been in that space before. I've been in that state. I felt that high, that natural high. Yeah, it may not look or seem possible right now. It might feel like it's a million miles away. It might feel like I have to climb this impossibly tall mountain to get there, but it's there. Okay, it's worth it. That's the sort of mental process that I go through. And that's what I recommend for you. Becoming self-aware, understanding you have choice, and remembering what it feels like to choose love. And then you just jump. Quite frankly, you just jump. You jump into love. You have faith, faith being trust and surrender. You trust that, this is a powerful decision for you, and you surrender to whatever can happen. You trust in yourself. And you just flow with it. And yes, it's one of those things that is simple, but not easy. It's one of those things that is easier said than done, obviously. But I think that when you have an opportunity for a breakthrough, and when you have an opportunity to quantum leap in your growth, in your healing, in your transformation, that it won't always be easy. Like those big leaps. If those big leaps were easy, then everyone would be doing them. You'd see people around you all the time busting through their fears, breaking down their denials, dropping those limiting beliefs that they have. If it was that easy, people would be doing it all the time. And it's not easy. But you listen to this podcast. You're interested in this material. You open yourself up to this stuff. You digest this stuff. You think about this stuff. Therefore, it's in you. You are already ready. It's just a choice now. It's a choice. It's that game, And it's exciting as hell. So I appreciate you hanging out with me, listening to some stuff that's very real for me. This is something that like I said, it's moment to moment, and we all get to experience it. We all get to experience in each moment what it's like to be presented with that option, that fear or love option. So as you're going through it, I'm going through it. And it's a beautiful thing, because as you grow, I grow. As I transcend, as I have my breakthroughs, I share them with you. And in the hopes of inspiring you to understand for yourself that it's within you. Always has been. So yes, I will wrap this episode up right here. I want to say thank you for listening. If this is your first time, what's up? Welcome. I appreciate you. If this is your second time or your 100th time. If it's your 100th time, that's super cool, because there aren't even 100 episodes. That means you've re-listened to a few. But regardless, I do want to say thank you. I am truly, truly grateful to you. I'm humbled that you would allow me to hang out with you for a little bit. And thanks. Right now I'm grateful, super grateful to baby Maya, because she's in the other room sleeping, giving me an opportunity to jump into the office, into the recording booth, and lay this down right now. And I'm grateful for this beautiful day. I'm staring out my window. I'm looking forward to going for a run in a little bit. And, gratitude's a beautiful thing. The music from this show, if you're digging the intro and the outro music, you can find it in the show notes over at firesidenetwork.com. The Having It All podcast is part of the Fireside Network, and firesidenetwork.com is where all the episodes live. That's where you can find all the notes, all the links, all that great stuff. And I'll be throwing this episode up there shortly. Well, actually, I'll do it before you guys get to hear it, so it'll be up there. If you're digging the show, if you get something out of the things I talk about, then I would appreciate if you would subscribe on iTunes. That would be awesome. iTunes is definitely the place to go to catch the show, but you can also catch it on Stitcher and Google Play if you are an Android person like myself. And with that, I got nothing else to say. So my name is Matthew Bivens, and here is to you having it all.